Welcome, everybody. Episode 88 of the Lookout Podcast. Of course, I am Meelz. I am here with the Platinum Chanel boy himself, Jeff.
I am back. What's going on?
We're back. Well, listen, we're back because we took... We didn't do the episode last week. Of course, the episode that we're presenting to you today was supposed to be last week, but things happen. You know what was a real omen of like maybe I should just skip this overall.
What was that?
The Attack on Titan delay, because
wasn't that so weird how that happened?
Yeah.
Because I obviously didn't know about it. I had something completely different going on. And then when I saw that, I was like, oh, wow.
But yeah, so it just kind of seemed like, you know what, maybe we should, take off a week. But I was on the Big Eyes podcast last week where we were talking about a lot of My Hero Academia. I kind of feel like I went on the wrong week now because this week is much more of a juicier subject.
That's what I'm hearing. I'm seeing it all over social media. A lot of shit's going on with My Hero right now.
I will tell you about it more when we get to the My Hero part of this episode.
Sure.
But first things first, we have to celebrate 3 years of the Lookout, my friend. 3 years.
Amazing.
Inaugural episode that we've both been on. First of all, it's been almost 3 years of RSPN, or has it been over 3 years of RSPN?
Yeah, we're right there as well. I think it's been over 3, but it is pretty crazy going back from the first episode. I still remember Mark and I's first episode. I still remember you and I, our first episode. So yeah, it's just crazy to see where we were and where we are now, where we're going. It's amazing, truly.
I recorded the first episode of The Lookout in a storage room of a student radio station. And I don't know, it just, first of all, the acoustics are perfect.
I was in a car,
but it just
in my garage.
And it just felt right. And we were talking about it and we were enjoying ourselves. And I think over the last 3 years, we've had various moments where we just sit and like we're geeked to talk about the stuff that we're talking about. And
nothing's changed.
Nothing has changed because we have so much to talk about this episode, especially when we get to Titan Time, especially when we get to the My Hero talk, especially when we get to so many different things. But I want to thank you guys. First things first, second things second. I want to give a shout out to two people. One, the artist known as Silver Pen. My God.
Amazing.
We have brand new artwork that we're displaying. If you are subscribed to The Lookout, which you should be if you're listening to this episode, you will see the artwork. It's fantastic. We've been working on that for months, and the concept has changed multiple times since then.
It came to life, and it's amazing.
The final product is just too incredible. So much love for it, so much everything for it. So I want to give a shout out to you. Shout out for the new logo for Caso De Niro. Mm-hmm. And we're working on some more stuff. Man. We beyond just more projects, little podcast projects that
it's hard to stop.
I've been hearing about. A couple more other extracurricular projects
a lot of fun things, a lot of fun ideas.
We're gonna have to determine what we're gonna talk about next. So here's what I've been thinking. I've been thinking we haven't done this in a while since the people. I think we haven't had a vote for what we should talk about in quite some time, and I think we should at least revisit it, even if we do it once per year. Maybe this is the once per year that we do it. But we have a vote.
I'm all for it. I think there's room for you and I to talk about something that neither of us has seen once. Because because at this point we jump into a lot of stuff that we're just generally fans of, or it's super popular, or whatever the case may be. But what if we let them vote on something that you and I just haven't seen? Because I know there's stuff out there.
I mean, of course,
stuff
yeah.
Start at the same time.
Me, hell yeah.
There's definitely at least 4 or 5 we can put on there. Like we haven't checked out. So
wow, I was just gonna put the regs. The
I know,
regulars.
Right? We'll fuck around be talking about.
You want to talk about Yu?
Yeah.
Hunter.
You know how it goes.
You want to talk about the Red Ribbon Army?
Yeah, you already know how it goes. But who knows? Maybe spice
That's
it up
an interesting concept. Yeah. That's an interesting concept for us to dive into something new and completely. I watched the first episode of Trigun because Justin loves that anime, and he's just like, yo, when you watching Trigun, and in the meanwhile, he's watching Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I see that. He's falling for it like the rest of us.
He's falling for it. It's we got another one.
It's easy. Yeah, it's easy too.
Listen, it's such a great anime, but we'll talk about that more on Titan Time. But yeah, you know what? You might be right. It's something that we've never seen before that maybe people will be interested in. Let's talk about it. Let's break out of our shell and see where it kind of, throws us. Because I don't think we're gonna do the My Hero series is too long to do a Titan Time type of thing for that. Like 22 straight weeks, not gonna happen. We're just gonna. Plus, I know what happens. But definitely okay. All right, I'm inspired. Cool. Yeah, something else that's also got me inspired.
What's that?
The announcement last week, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Mugen Train, the movie. That's a lot of semicolons, by the way.
It is. But we made it. I mean, we were kind of waiting to see when they were going to give us the go, and tell us that, hey, it's coming to America, and we're finally here. And it looks like we'll get a Blu-ray around the same time too. So. It's exciting, man. I'll be in the theaters to see it for sure.
Yeah, can we share a little person? It's not that much of a personal story, but you texted me a tweet that someone sent.
What was it?
Of someone saying it's all but confirmed.
Oh yeah.
The movie, the Demon Slayer movie will be in theaters on April 25th. To which I said, yeah, where's the source?
Top exec.
Top exec. So
it was hard to believe it. So yeah,
because we come from at the Pokemon world, right?
You got to understand.
Where the rumors for every game comes from someone's dad friend who works at Game Freak.
Yeah. Always, no matter what. Although Game Freak really does not play that when it comes to leaked information. Yeah. So, but yeah,
it's just like, oh, the Hoenn region's gonna be in Pokemon X and Y. We're getting remakes again this summer.
New 3 is coming. I've heard. Shit you can't believe. But the Demon Slayer shit was for real. Shouts that guy. He's at home. Real. He's at home right now, like feet kicked up. Probably smoking a cigar. Or she, I'm not sure who the person is, but they got it right.
Absolutely. So, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie Mugen Train, will be arriving in North America April 23rd, and on digital, June 22nd. So if you don't want to wait to give it theaters, or both, both. The film is rated R.
It is a rated R film.
It's a rated R film. We've seen the film. We just haven't talked about it, but we've seen it.
We have seen it. I actually think they should do that with anime more, because a lot of this stuff you'll turn on. I turned on many Hunter x Hunter episodes and it says TV 14 on it. I'm like, all right, well, that's not true. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't.
Rated R has never stopped me from seeing a movie.
No, never. Never. We're black,
whether I was 11 or 18.
Yeah, we're black. Every now and then we got to get in on that.
Yeah, just whatever. So everyone use, I guess, their greatest, if you're going to be out in the movie theaters, make sure you're just socially distant, everything of the sort, to make sure you're safe while you're enjoying this 2-hour movie.
Get vaccinated.
I wonder if they do in theaters or drive-through. Which would you think? I've never been to a drive-through, but I can only imagine that. I guess the theaters are better.
I do drive-in. I've done a drive-in recently.
Drive-in, yes.
Yeah, I love drive-ins personally. I haven't been to a theater in a minute. This will be the first movie I go back to see in a theater for sure. Yeah, I'm going. I want to see it in the theater. Drive-ins are cool, but I also wear glasses and I don't have them right now, so it kind of makes it worse. I gotta see this thing in the theater.
Oh my god. With that said, we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to everything related to Demon Slayer. So, April 23rd is the date. That's a month from now. legit, we'll be there. And then we'll do our grand review of the movie. Let's see. What else did we... Oh, the tournament of tournaments. We have a conclusion. We have a winner. To no surprise at all.
Yeah, I mean...
the Dark Tournament.
From the get, this is the winner that it should be. I think, just out of respect for the reason why tournaments mean so much in the anime community, I think it all leads back to the Dark Tournament. I know there were things still before the Dark Tournament that were important, but as far as having an impact and it being, something special, this is really what it is. Now, shocked Battle City went as far as it did. Not that it's bad, but I'm just shocked that it got through as much as it did. But to be fair, you go against Fate Zero, you go against Heaven's Arena. I think they had a good chance. So
the Battle City tournament, it's a good tournament. So the only reason I say that why it made it thus far, I'm happy that it made it thus far. I'm surprised, yes, for sure.
I am surprised,
but because I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh, because of the era that it's in, because of the channel that it's in, because of everything that was in,
deserves,
especially as an anime. It's never in the top 5 consideration. It's never in a top 20 consideration. It's not listed as one of the best animes ever.
Yeah,
ever.
Yu-Gi-Oh. When I say Yu-Gi-Oh is. It's definitely one of those things that were so popular, you couldn't quite put your finger on it unless you could remove yourself from Pokemon at the time fully and pay attention to what it was actually doing worldwide. And Yu-Gi-Oh cards, don't let anybody tell you no different, y'all. If you were there, Yu-Gi-Oh cards were bigger than Pokemon cards for a minute in this world.
Absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can ask whoever you want. If you grew up with it, you'll understand that. So I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm not mad that it got where it gets. I think it does deserve. I do think it's better than Heaven's Arena. I do. I really feel that way. So I wasn't mad at it, but nothing was going to be the Dark Tournament, I don't think.
Let's jump into it. No more fluff. All the stuff. It's Titan time. Are you ready?
Yeah, TT.
Whew. Oh my God. So today, I mean, obviously we talked about it earlier in the episode, but because of last week and the unfortunate earthquake over in
so that is why it got canceled.
Yes. Okay. So it aired, but the earthquake happened while it was airing.
I see.
They preempted the episode. So the episode actually never got to complete. So actually, if you were online last week and you pretty much searched the Attack on Titan topic, you saw various clips, especially of Eren piecing up. What's my man's name? You saw that for sure. Yeah. So I saw that last week.
Okay.
But there was no subs.
I really didn't know. I just thought maybe they took a week off and they decided to combine the week. But yeah, prayers out to everybody in the earthquake. They had another one too the other day. So
yeah. And I saw it, and it actually affected. It's interesting. It affected a New Japan show. I've never seen an earthquake during a live pro wrestling show.
Wow.
But I imagine it's scary. Listen, I imagine an earthquake. An earthquake during an Attack on Titan episode also must be frightening.
Yeah, could you imagine being locked in to Attack on Titan? And man, that'd be crazy. I've been in a few, so I know.
Listen. Shout out to everyone. If anyone was affected in Wakayama, Japan,
prayers up for sure.
Prayers up. This week we get the double dose of Attack on Titan. Episode 14, episode 15. A full hour. Is this a way you would like to formally absorb Attack on Titan in the future?
An
hour long,
a full hour each. Okay,
full hour episode.
I'm watching. This is not besides the point. It has a point, but I'm watching ReZero, starting life in another world. That anime is an hour long, like each episode. And at first I was like, it's kind of long. When I say an hour, I mean, it's 48 minutes, something like that.
Of course.
But I actually do like it. I think you get a lot of information. It's not too much. They kind of split the episodes up in like 2 or 3 mini type arcs. It's not really an arc, but I guess just different things going on. Obviously in this is just 2 episodes and they split it, and they could have, I guess, put it all in one, but that wasn't the original plan. But I would love to have an hour long. What if oh, Dragon Ball Super was like each episode now 45 minutes for the final season. I'd be like,
good luck. I mean, they had 1 hour long episode of when Goku did the Ultra Instinct thing, but I don't think they had anything other than that.
Yeah.
If they were in an hour long episode, I would probably have gone for episode 13 and 14. More so than 14 and 15. But again, this wasn't part of the plan. We're just legitimately like, yo, what if it was an hour long?
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
But with that said, we open this episode. I mean, this episode to me, let's talk about episode obviously 14 before we get to 15, because 15 is a major flashback with a lot of storyline implications. And episode 14 has a lot of current day implications. Savagery. And one of them, it's called
Savagery. So
how appropriate, because Eren, come on, she's right there.
He walked into the room. You see this? I'm bleeding.
I also don't like when they air the final part of last episode as the beginning of the next episode.
I don't like that either. Yeah, I really don't like that either. This man Eren walked in, hand bloody. You already know what it means. Keep your hands on the table. Don't move. I got something to say. Or I will transform up in this bitch.
And he spilled everything.
He did.
He spilled they were like, essentially how this entire goes on is Mikasa and Armin were trying to figure out from Eren. And this is what they've wanted to figure out the entire time. It's why they went to Commander Zachary's office before Commander Zachary turned into a toaster strudel. It was, all they wanted to do was talk to Eren about the situation that's going on. And they were like, listen, how could you even be in approval of this, of killing children, of doing all these things, of taking lives, of not caring about people? Like, you care about people. Like, I've seen you in person.
He was like, do I?
Do I? He's like, you know what I hate? You know what I hate the most? What I found out I hate the most? Slavery.
Look, time out. Because he really went left. He didn't have to take it there. But it's almost like he was ticked off that they tried to tell him about himself.
Yeah,
he's easily. Like, y'all know what I've been through. I don't know why you trying to tell me how I should feel about killing kids. And so from that, he was like, but you know what I don't like? Matter of fact, let me.
How are you gonna say me? How are you gonna tell me that I'm being controlled when you guys are the one being manipulated? You're the one being manipulated. He looks at Armin. He says, yo,
I'm free, bro.
He's like, freedom, right? He's like, I hate slavery. He's like, look at you, Armin. You ate Bertolt, didn't you?
you still thinking like him, aren't you?
First of all, it was completely Eren's. The only reason he ate Bertolt is because of Eren.
I mean, we know that. But still, he doesn't care. He's like, I'm going to use it against him anyways.
He says, you got Bertolt's memories. That's why you visiting Annie, huh?
Weirdo. You think I didn't know? I heard you miss her.
Do you really miss Annie, or does Bertolt? You have his memories. You have all these other things. I heard you, And he's like, Armin's like, what do you... And then he turns to Mikasa, and this is the most savage part.
Oh, yeah, this really broke my heart. This was kind of my, my alliance to Eren, considering he was the original, protagonist. So obviously we're connected to him, we're tied to him emotionally. But this, cut that string. I think probably for a lot of people, it's Mikasa is the one character I feel like we've all protected just off the fact that she is a protector herself. So we naturally care for the character. So to have him absolutely destroy any kind of love or compassion that he had for her, if any, apparently he never did, which is what he confirmed.
He says this, and this is word specifically, this is verbatim. He says that Ackermans were intentionally designed to protect Eldia's king. He's like, you don't even have you were built this way. You don't have any real actual feelings or desires or things of your own. You were just designed to protect people. He's like, listen, back then, faced with life or death situation, you heard my order to fight, and guess what? You fight. When I told you to jump, you jumped. And then your instincts woke within you, and everything of the rather. And he's just really just laying it down and telling her about herself and telling her about these things that she hasn't really, truly, fully, I think, really fully realized about this entire situation. She's been getting these headaches, but she hasn't known why. She's been getting these, every time Eren is threatened, she jumps into the situation no matter what, whether she agrees with it or not. We saw it a couple episodes ago in episode 7 or episode 6. But
in this one,
yeah, and oh yeah,
without even thinking, bro. Like, I mean, we're about to get into it, but in this conversation, Armin loses his mind a little bit, and he's like, "All right, you said enough, bro." Because it was one of those, you can say whatever you want about me, but don't disrespect the one person who's been there literally from the beginning. And he got up to make a move, and Misa could beat this nigga ass real quick. And she didn't even know what she was doing. She just did it out of just, and it honestly, it proved Aaron's point. Let's just be real.
And he's just like, first of all, shout out to Gabi, who's watching all of this, doesn't know. I mean, she doesn't have a word in this entire situation, but still, it's got to be pretty
quiet.
Yeah, it's still got to be pretty triggering to watch all of this nonetheless. But we see, I mean, this entire, like you said, the entire thing angers Armin, and he leaps over the table. Shout out to him, not walking over, but leaping over the table. And then, similar to the Ackerman instincts, which apparently gets powers awakened when you're trying to protect someone, and also you get headaches if you're trying to resist being forced to protect them. She comes up, hammerlock, real quick, wrist lock.
See?
Armin's on the table, doesn't even realize it. She doesn't even realize it, and she's just like, wow.
This man, Aaron, see? I told you. Anchorman boy. Just like that.
Luckily, Armin gets up once again and is just like, yo, I'm dubbing. Like, fuck this. Fuck this entirely. Leaps over the table, punches.
He gets one good punch, and that was it.
The fight between Armin and Aaron, I think it's something that happens, I guess, in like as you grow up. Well, nah, it's never my best.
Not like this, bro. Yeah,
I don't think I've scrapped my best friends like this.
They're not even fighting, bro. It's just one guy getting beat up. I'm gonna do a showdown episode, Eric. It's gonna be like 5 minutes long.
You gonna do a showdown episode of this fight?
It's just gonna be this. 5 minutes.
But
like this ass out cold, boy. You know when you fall you know when you fall flat, you know it just like neck to one side. That's how you know you really got it.
I don't like how they animated this because they really they went
Glass
in
everywhere.
first person view of this man piecing up Armin. It was almost as if you were punching Armin.
That's what they wanted you to feel.
And also, I feel like this series does a great job. Here's how I feel about anime. Anime does a great job producing non-realistic fights. But when it comes to incredibly realistic fights, how do you feel like they do?
Like a fight that you would see in person if there was one? Yeah.
Yes.
It's brilliant. I think they show... They don't overly do it. Because when you hear the punches and then they shift the camera back to the actual person who's been getting fucked up, I'll be like, oh, that's how I expect this person to look after getting hit that many times. It's never like out of the ordinary. Like it looks realistic. I mean, as far as an anime is concerned.
I don't know. It just it's a part of me that's just like,
His face is all swollen, bro. He's strong.
This is not how fights work. I've seen fights in real life. Like this is not how fights work. This isn't.
But they be hitting with no shame. They don't miss punches. In real life, niggas will throw like 20 punches, maybe like 12 of them hit,
He got a knee in.
He did get a knee in. Which tells you exactly what you need to know about Aaron, man. He just wanted to beat him up a little bit.
Listen, he doesn't care. He's void of any feelings anymore because he's so much more. He's like, yo, I'm purposeful. We're moving forward, as he said in this entire thing. So the entire conflict between Aaron and Mikasa and Armin, what they wanted to talk about ended up coming out completely wrong, and now they've been captured and all this type of shit like that. So that was the first part of this episode. And then there's a little bit more action. They talk about it all later after the fact. Flock and Hanji then return to Shiri. I forgot the name of the city, but it starts with a Shiri. And they return, and we see Commander Keith Shotties, who's just like, yo, we got to learn how to fight Titans. It looks like we might have to fight a Titan or two, a Beast Titan, an Attack Titan. I watched all the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan. Here's how it's going to go. You're going to go for the nape, but you also need a couple Thunder Spears. You might have to sacrifice yourself, but you need to cut off the legs. I've watched I've watched Levi's tape over and over. Who's the best swordsman around here? To which Flock shows up and it's like, Flock says, "Party over, old man." The commander, he's a tough old bastard. He's a tough old bird. My man's just like pretty much, it's like, listen, you asswipes couldn't piece me up a day in your life. Like, you couldn't do it. And you think that you can just kind of get off with words and stuff like that. And Flock just says, you know what? I'm going to prove everything to you. Anyone here who wants to live, beat up this guy.
You would have saw me in there. Shit. At that point.
Shit.
All right, I'm gonna beat this man up then.
Listen, we're about to be attacked on all angles. We got the power of the Titans with us. Y'all don't have no Titans to y'all name. This guy is telling you about how y'all gonna have to fight Titans and then gonna have to fight the world too. If you want to live, just come with me. And you know what?
I would have reacted the same way.
The funniest scene, because they're like, yo, if you want to live, beat them up. And there's like soldiers, obviously, who step up. And then they cut the scene.
You see angry faces, like, okay.
He's like, this man's bloody, dead, completely turned upside down.
It's like they didn't want us to see this, you know? They beat his ass.
They beat this man up. This was, I don't know if it was intentionally meant to be hilarious, but it was.
Like
I don't know why.
I do feel like Mop would be drawing it up, like, you know, just to get a good laugh, even though it's super serious right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it's intention to be hilarious, but I think at this point, over 4 seasons of people randomly dying with various reasons or attempts, that we just find humor in it, especially someone who says like, none of these people could fight me, could hold their own in a fight, and they completely whoop his ass. Beating up old people. Okay. Let's get to the second part of this episode, the crux of this episode, and it is the fight between Levi and Zeke.
Yeah, man.
We finally see a little bit of resistance. We finally see kind of what everyone's talking about, and they find out during this period. I mean, Zeke and Aaron, they find out during this period that Zeke and Levi find out that, you know, everything has been taken over and people have been captured and people are looking for things. And there's, you know, Levi's kind of very mad himself that he's like, yo, not only did we not kill this Titan, but we didn't kill the other Titan. So I'm pretty pissed just in general. And then Zeke runs away.
Finally, what is he doing?
He runs away and lets out a scream, and we find out. Find out heavily, in the worst way possible, when Levi's entire team, the new team that he assembled, this is a new team from the season 1 team. He's got a bunch of new friends he's become acquainted with.
We don't know them
over the last. No, we don't know them, but I'm assuming last 4 years of peace on parody, they've gotten to know each other.
Yeah.
He knows each other quips.
That's over.
He knows they like wine. But Zeke lets out the scream and they all turn into Titans, and it's the saddest shit. It's really more so a nightmare more than anything.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he's seeing his entire force of people just turn into Titans, and now the people who he was helping protect, now he has to turn against and actually kill them. It fuels Levi. And maybe it's the part of the Ackerman thing. I think this episode we see a lot of the Ackerman sort of instincts kind of kick in, because not only does he decide, all right, I kind of have to protect everyone.
No choice.
He's got no choice, but he really goes in.
Yeah, I have to kill all of them right here, right now.
What would have been the perfect soundtrack for this? Because they throw in some like Fort Minor shit. Like,
yeah, well, considering they didn't really let us see it, I guess he just came back all bloodied up before he got back to Zeke. But I guess if there was something you could put some on Chief there, Keef, it's gotta be something.
Freeway Flip Side.
Wow.
Woo!
They could have played like, it's just like they could have played like Beanie Single, Feel It in the Air. You know what I'm saying? Something cool, man. You know? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I'm telling you.
He has this flashback. I'm watching now. He's like, wine. Why would you bring wine on a mission? And he's just like, yo, this is the only thing we get to drink, man.
Yeah.
Like, This is the only thing we get to do.
Sad.
And everyone
it was spinal fluid.
Levi is completely. I think he holds in very strong regard his record against Zeke. Because to go up against, it's got to be against 20 Titans. Mm-hmm. Man is falling within the Titans. All their mouths are opening, and he kills them. You don't even got a gun. Like, he just got... I don't think he even uses thunder spears.
No, I think this is all... Nah, bro. He's just a master class swordsman. Just a swordsman. Either way. Zeke is getting away using the Titans, and then he sees that Levi's back on his tail, and he can't believe it. And he turns into a Titan. He grabs one of the female of those Titans, cuts her head off, and hopes to throw it at them, and still gets bodied. I think Levi 100%. He realizes his record against Zeke. He realizes how unblemished it is, and he takes pride in that he's able to really take down this man. Anytime he wants.
Anytime.
I actually find it crazy that Zeke thought that. I mean, I'm surprised Zeke thought that his whatever plan that he had at that moment to get away or whatever, try to turn the tides. I'm surprised he thought that shit would work against someone like Levi, because he knows first, no matter what.
But everything has worked kind of thus far. I mean, everything has worked thus far. He was led in a situation. I think this was 100% planned out. He knew that his spinal fluid wouldn't affect an Ackerman. He has Mikasa sort of captured. He has Levi. I think a major part of his plan was, how the hell do I stop Levi? That was a major thing. And like, I'm a Titan of royal blood. Levi has bodied me several times before in the past. I need to make sure that Levi is out of the picture before I do anything. And I think that was a major part of his plan. And I think this entire thing with the spinal fluid was meant to stop Levi. I legit think so. One person. I mean, it's also like insurance policy is like, yo, I could turn them Titans anytime I want if I want to, just like, if I just want to. But I think this entire plan, the Can't Force, everything of the rather, making sure all the MPs drink the spinal fluid wine, was absolutely to make sure that that Levi was taken out of the picture, because he sends 20 Titans. I mean, there's 20 Titans after him. Yeah, 20 of them. That's a lot of Titans they didn't have to kill. And they his homies. And he kills them anyway. Because he has to. It's his responsibility. He captures Zeke. First of all, the most gruesome ending to an episode. Man, he is pissed.
When he cut his feet off, like half of his feet,
and keeps cutting his feet because he's pissed. He's pissed. He's
irritated.
At this point, he realized the whole Eren thing. Eren is taking over the thing. I should have killed him before. Zeke has done this to me. I should have killed him before. I'm pissed. He's cutting off his legs multiple times, cutting off his feet multiple times. He's got a thunder spear thrown, jabbed into his thing, just so it's like, yo, in case if you say anything or try to escape, you will get blown up. This all leads to, I guess, this coming of death moment. Like staring truly death in the face leads to a full episode of a flashback.
Major.
It's like it would seeing your life before your eyes.
Shit. Yeah, I'm about to say it made me have a flashback too.
It's seeing your life before your eyes, and that prompts what happens in episode 15. Because episode 15, I think it's an interesting way to kind of end a season, because it is essentially, we're one episode away from the end of the season. The end of the season is next week,
right?
But you do an entire episode kind of. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know what happens in the next episode. I know you've read it, but it does feel. It feels like it's a slow turn to this, this first half. But I don't know what happens this next one.
Sure. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's a slow burn. I would assume something major happens. I kind of know what happens, but I always forget. But I'm sure if I read it again, I'm like, oh yeah, that happens. But we get a look back at Zeke's life and kind of what made him this entire way. And you kind of really get season 4 is all about perspective. you get the different perspective from now Zeke. Instead of season 3, I think we got the perspective of Eren and Zeke's dad. And we get the perspective of what happened to him as a kid. His sister died, and you were killed by Marlians, eaten by dogs. And that's kind of what prompted his whole revolutionist. And that's why he became the restorationist. And that's why he chose, thing, and how he married Dina, and how she was, family of royal blood, all this other stuff, and you get really from his perspective. But now all we see from that perspective is that Zeke snitched.
That's it. That was the answer.
You've known as a big snitcher.
Snitch? Oh, this is how.
Oh, yes. This entire episode built up from him meeting, what was his name? Mr. Cassava? Cassava?
Damn, I was saying it in perfect Japanese too earlier.
You sure were. You should have heard him during our watch back of this episode. You would have been proud, ladies and gentlemen.
I like it. I'm gonna learn.
He says, though my beast titan isn't helpful in war. Either way, Zeke meets this person, part of the Marleyan army, and he discovers that his name is Tom Casaver. There you go.
Casaver,
yeah. He meets this guy. They have this they share this bond over, baseball, throwing the baseball, him catching it. And, it opens up a lot. I think Zeke does consider him a father figure at some point, especially when he snitched on his father.
You better. I mean, who's left now?
But essentially, we get this entire backstory in terms of let's talk about my favorite parts of it. I like kind of the bond between Mr. Casaver and Zeke. I understand it. I understand where you're coming from, kind of a father figure. He's the one who pretty much says, like, yo, if you want to live, this is not the way. Like, being a restorationist is not the way, because you will die soon. There's no, like we talked about, it was like, yo, it's kind of similar to like scamming. It's like, yo, there's no happy ending scamming. Yeah. Like, it's not gonna happen. You either stop early or you get cooked. Caught.
Yeah.
So he goes through this entire thing. You see the backstory of him training. You see the backstory of all this other stuff. You see his ascension from being a terrible warrior candidate to being a fruitful warrior candidate that inherits the Beast Titan. And you really get the true backstory to Zeke's life that we never really got before. And kind of what made him what it is. And did it make you any more sympathetic to how he is in this situation, especially when he's like, yo, he seems like he wants to stop the Titans.
Yeah.
Like, wants to stop. He wants to end this kind of despair. He wants to end the suffering. He wants to end everything. How did you feel necessarily?
I mean, about him wanting to just end everything?
About the entire episode. About kind of like, about just Zeke's perspective on everything. Did it make you more sympathetic to him?
Yeah, I think that's how I even get through a lot of Eren stuff, understanding where he came from. Right. Basically seeing the reason why someone is the way they are. Obviously, if you're human, you should have some type of sympathy just naturally, right? Because, you're like, oh, okay, I see why this person has completely exploded, or is just weird to just, I don't, in no way do I relate to Eren, but I can look at his past now that we're in season 4 and understand where he is. And I think that was the point of them showing Zeke at such an early age, getting to see the type of kid he was. He was just a kid, and he had a bunch of things forced upon him that turned him into the person he is today. So I guess I have some sympathy for him in that regard, but there's still that fine line between all the awful things that he had to do to get there. So it's weird. It's a double-edged sword.
I think one of the major things we also see in this episode is the conversation between Zeke and Eren. And kind of, it shows us a perspective of like, maybe it's not all Zeke controlling Eren.
Sure, yeah.
Like everyone seems to be from the perspective that this is Zeke's plan and that Zeke was the one who control Eren, and if it wasn't, I mean, this is the entire thing that sort of Yelena's speaking, that, and this is what Eren kind of says in the last episode. He's like, yo, no one's controlling me. This is all my doing. We get the perspective from them talking, and everyone's under the assumption that it's Zeke's plan is like he somehow brainwashed Eren, because Eren would never do this. But
how do they not truly think Eren would never? I mean, dude, you just
because they don't see what he sees. They don't see what he sees, and they've never experienced what he experienced.
But they have to at least be able to try to find a way to understand, considering everything that has happened and stuff that they don't know. Because there's been plenty of moments where they run into a situation that they don't have enough information on to act. And
right.
I get it. It's Eren, and they've had so many battles for him, with him. But I don't know, man. The man has changed. I feel like on the outside looking in, we're like, how can you not see that this dude is completely broken and gone? He's not the same.
I mean,
person.
He is to an extent, but I do think that they 100% believe that impetus to this is all Zeke's doing, because Zeke got in his brain somehow, and all this other stuff. But I don't think they see, because Eren hasn't really shared, and he hasn't really told them all about this, of all the memories that he's seen and everything that he's affected and all the time that he's traveled, apparently, to see what's going to go on in his life, and if there's truly freedom for Eldians. He says in this episode, there's no greater salvation than never being born into this world. And I think that's how he sees the future of the Eldians. He says, I'll do it. I'll put an end to 2,000 years of Titan domination. And
bars.
It takes Zeke aback a bit. And he's like, whoa. And then he agrees with it. And they realize for the first time, these brothers are on the same page. Even though they've been on opposite sides of this war for some time, they're finally on the same page about what's going on. And then the final scene of this episode, we bounce back into real life. And it looks like Levi's about to pretty much deal the final blow or something along those lines. And he escapes. Zeke blows up. Well, not necessarily escape, but he blows up the thing. And poor Levi
goes flying.
Poor horse.
Well, the horse, you get to see the horse just caught on fire for like 0.5 seconds.
They didn't need to show that.
They did not. I did not need that, but the magnitude. They gotta let us know about the magnitude of the explosion, and that's how they show it.
Absolutely. So we're getting the final episode of Attack on Titan final season, part 1. They haven't formally announced that there'll be a part 2, but come on,
we know.
You know how this works. Anything you would like to see happen? Anything that you think is going to happen?
I do. I gotta assume that there's some more major deaths coming outside of characters that have been there for 4 years, but we weren't there to see them. I do want to see Levi actually kill this motherfucker. That'd be nice. I'm not sure if we ever get to see that deal, but also, man, I don't know. I'm getting more close and close to just Eren may need to be taken out, dude.
They're telling a great story.
Because every time he walks in somewhere, I'm bleeding, so don't try anything crazy. It's like going into Kroger or something. Like, I'm bleeding. I want my sandwich for free. Like he goes in bleeding anywhere just in case, and it's like this dude is out of his fucking mind. He may have to go.
No, absolutely.
He may have to go. This is coming from someone who does not know what happens in the manga, so
I'm looking forward to it. But until then, even though we've given you this long kind of thing, we also got My Hero Academia to talk about. So we are wrapping up season 4 of My Hero Academia, and you guys can listen to that up next. Let's finish up My Hero Academia season 4.
Yeah, man, let's do it. Some of my favorite stuff. I thought it was so weird that we actually got this piece of like material after such like a big moment with overhauling Deku. Like you would think they would just like kind of stop everything at that moment, but it's cool that we still get a nice chunk of like episodes afterwards.
I agree. I think they like to keep the action in some places, then the dialogue and development in other places, and then I think they like to sandwich it a little bit, or sometimes it's like in the middle. Actually, I don't know how they're.
Well, any other anime would have stopped it right there. Like,
right. It would have been an 11-episode season. This is the arc. See you guys next year.
Next year. I respect it, honestly. I think it's mean, it's risky too, low key. You know, at least when you're trying to tell a story. But they have so much content, it works out, and the season still ends really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So season 4 of My Hero Academia. We're in the second part of this. I say second part as mean the non-overhaul part, the post Rocklock era, if we're talking
right.
everything. But overall, what's our thoughts on kind of how they capped off the season with this back-to-back? We have the provisional license remedial class, we have the UA school festival arc, and then we have the pro hero arc, which actually is not completed. If you read the manga or if you're familiar with any of the things in season 5, it's actually not completed, believe it or not. But 3 arcs, maybe 4 if you want to squeeze another one within the span. How do you feel like the season ended compared to like other seasons of the show?
Well, let's be real. The final episode of season 4, I watched while texting you. I remember because the episode was, I mean, it's one of my favorite My Hero episodes, period. But the school festival is one of the best, like, sub arc. Like, it's so good. It's so good. And I know you love, like, Gentle Criminal and La Brava and all that good stuff. But the concert in general was...
You like the concert?
Yeah, that shit was hard, bro. Like, it's like things you never got to do in school yourself. You know, we never had cool shit like that. So I'm like, damn.
Yeah, listen, everybody gets a turn in this season.
Yeah,
from really one reason or another. But yeah, I'm not a fan of I guess I like the performance. I don't like the build up to it. I don't like the just anything
like
of
the filler
it.
Of the
nah, not really.
Deku, go get some string.
Yeah, some strings. Let's do this. Let's use my quirk. Deku, you can't dance, etc., etc. All right, so let's start off. The second half of the season starts off very, very spicy. After this, after Overhaul gets his arms took, it starts off with actually this part takes place while they're doing the Overhaul thing. So it's a little bit of a time lapse sort of thing where Gran Torino is out in the woods with the cops. And they're trying to find Kurogiri, who's in the woods. They've been hearing spottings of like oh my god, there's definitely that fucking, what do you call it? I don't even know how you describe him. How do you describe him? Purple, grape flavored smoke. A ghastly is in the
somebody smoking in the woods. We can tell. Does he leave a scent? You know,
I don't think so. It's like I think there's a ghastly in the woods. Like I've been spotting some grape flavored ghost warp criminal in the woods wearing a very debonair suit, if I might say myself.
It's kind of hard to miss, I would say.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, we've seen spot him in the woods. Let's do it. So, the setup for this is that Kurogiri during this time, which is why he's not seen during the Overhaul arc at any point. Kurogiri says, All for One left the power that if he should ever be captured or arrested or killed or anything, you can utilize this power. And so he was tasked essentially to go find this power in the woods, and that power is none other than Gigantomachia.
Yeah.
Now, Gigantomachia, without spoiling too much, we have already seen him in this arc in another form.
Really,
but it just has not been revealed as of yet.
Really?
Yes, we have. We actually have. But Gigantomachia was a bodyguard for All for One back in the day. He debuted very quickly in the second season. I had to look it up myself in the My Hero Academia fandom page. Very quickly, his debuts post Stain killing when they you look at you see the first look at Toga and the first look at Dabi. He's like, you see like a glimpse of him, a very short glimpse. I'll say this: they have a hard time essentially grabbing Kurogiri because they have to fight Gigantomachia. Mm-hmm. They manage to escape with the skin of their teeth, the freshest of lives. The Gran Torino's carrying Kurogiri and the cop, who are both like bloody at the same time, and he's just like escaping. He was like, "Yo, we had to escape. We had to get Kurogiri at the risk of like fighting Gigantomachia." But I will say this, because we're previewing season 5, which debuts on this Friday, or Saturday.
Crazy.
Gigantomachia will be in season 5.
Isn't season 5? Confirmed.
He's in season 5. 100% confirmed.
Okay.
He is a very pivotal part of season 5. Listen, talk about the names,
if you're going to name something that's supposed to be terrifying.
Gigantomachia.
I want to fight that shit.
Best Genus.
Best
Gang
Genus.
Orca.
We're going to talk about Best Genus. I seen a picture of Best Genus recently, and I have so many questions for you.
Can I do a little spoiler thing at the end? Because I really do want to talk.
You can, because the fit looks incredible.
But yeah, we're gonna do a little spoiler thing at the end, and then I'll be able to gush it out. At this point, I don't care if you've read or not.
It's fine. It's fine. You know, I still rock even with spoilers.
Okay, so just for the manga gang to look forward to, if you not listen to the War Report, but otherwise you can listen to this as well. Okay, let's start with the provisional license remedial classes with Bakugo and Todoroki and the rest of the losers. How do we feel about this arc? I thought it was I thought the most pivotal part of this arc was not the kids part, at all.
I mean, I don't really consider it like a cool down situation, but I feel like they're still trying to tell the more serious side with, La Brava and like all that stuff is still, it still matters, but they want to make sure that they're slowing it down quite a bit, because the overall shit was a lot to grasp all in all. So I don't think they wanted to. It's crazy that they didn't want to end it on that note,
right?
But there were still things to be told, and I think they did it well by fusing some filler with another arc that's kind of important, some more action.
So I think generally in terms of storyline paces and things, especially when you have when the season is bookended by 2 very high, very intense moments,
right?
You definitely do want to slow it down so you can make that second moment feel important. So
Absolutely.
you aren't taking that big gasp at the beginning and you have breath left to take another gasp when something else happens. You're like, okay, I can breathe a little bit. I can grab a drink. I can think, and then suddenly episode 81, oh shit, high end no move, special grade no move, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Because I mean, they had the option to do what they wanted as far as finishing the season. I mean, the manga was already written out, so they could have definitely ended it there. But then we would have started season 5 with
No, these are consistently 22 something episode seasons. They know, they know their bread and butter. I don't think they're gonna do it in 11 episode season again. I hope not, at least, because it just it wouldn't just feel right.
Probably too much.
So I think in this arc overall, Bakugo and Todoroki learns about how they can inspire and kind of learn how to take their own personal situations and kind of put it aside once you have people, or kids rather, that look up to you, and we also see that kids are incredibly strong. It's kind of a reminder that as generations pass, quirks become very much so stronger, because these kids could have whooped their ass. I fully believe
easily, straight up.
But and you get a lot of look at homeboy from the other schools. I forgot the names, to be honest with you. When we reached this part, I had no intention of talking about Cammy and the Wind guy and all this other stuff like that.
No Wind guy? You don't like the
He's cool.
Guy?
He's cool. He is cool.
He is cool. He would have worked if he was an original classmate. He'd probably be super popular.
I think so as well.
With fans.
But the most important part of this to me is the Endeavor and All Might conversation. That's just I love the little pieces of development when they do that kind of shit like that. I love that type of shit. That whole Endeavor shows up randomly. Since when does the number one hero show up to a remedial class? It's oh, guess it's his dad. It's like Braun showing up to practice, But, or Braun showing up to Bronny's physical therapy.
What if he just, how our parents used to come have lunch with us?
Yeah.
What if he just showed up and I'm just here to have lunch, and he has a Lunchable,
or brings McDonald's to your school? It's yo, I brought you lunch.
Yeah, today. Something weird. What? LeBron eats McDonald's. It's gonna be something like that. So yeah, if I seen All Might and Endeavor just randomly chatting it up, Who doesn't? I mean, who doesn't want to experience that?
So an interesting thing is, and I'll say this because it also may happen in season 5. I'm doing plenty of season 5 previews on this thing.
This is good because you've been talking up season 5 for so long
Listen,
to me. So this is
very soft
good.
spoilers for season 5. I hope it's not in season 6 and it screws me, but I feel like
I
it's
know,
going to
right?
be in season 5. So originally in this sort of situations, Eraserhead, Aizawa would take them. But he's not here. He's at the police station. That becomes very important. Actually, is it? Is it? Am I getting the timing right? He might. Either way, season 5 preview. Aizawa talks to the cops. This is a very, very, very important moment in this in the build up to this thing. Very important moment. But with that said, I find it very interesting that the day that All Might shows up to take the kids, I don't think he's normally supposed to take them, but he is. Endeavor shows up and he's like, All Might, we need to talk. And we saw the vigor and the intensity and the anger the last time these two bumped into each other in season 2.
Yeah. There's like I think there's respect there, but it's actually hard not to watch it and look at them as enemies because they're not enemies.
No.
But it's like they're not at all. But it's weird because they want you to view it as a
rivalry,
you know. So that show does this a lot, though. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, Deku and Bakugo. You know, they do this. Like, you know, oh, should I like this character, even though they're all good guys, you know? So I think it's a nice touch. The conversation is obviously extremely important, you know, for us to have just as fans. I mean, this is one of the first times we really get to see them converse. Did they talk again before this? I mean, you know, as far as a real conversation.
Not really, no. They haven't really talked since All Might lost his power in season 3.
Yeah.
So this is their first meeting. They don't see each other very often, to be honest with you. I mean, even season 2, we had that, you know, where All Might's like, Endeavor. And he like does a jump and flips down the fucking steps like an acrobat and shit like that. He's like, long time no see. So they don't really see each other very often. But when they do, I guess it's a very pivotal moment, especially an exchange between Hero 1 and Hero 2, where Hero 2 wants to strive to be the number 1 hero, but knows that he can't reach that. And now you have the situation where All Might has formally, I guess, stepped down as a hero because he lost his powers, and Endeavor assumes the role as number 1 kind of by default, and it's bugging him, but he understands. This is where I'm still trying to.
You think he wanted some type of closure?
It's weird.
You didn't see what he was looking for?
Because I do feel like they're missing a link between when they flip the switch on Endeavor being like aggro to suddenly being like caring. And maybe it was the All Might thing and seeing the mortality of the entire situation and seeing kind of understanding the responsibility that he has now to save society that made him softer.
Well, if that was it, you're right. They kind of did smooth over. Like we wouldn't know if that was the moment
I was just like, wait, why is he so caring now? Like
why is he chill?
Yeah, because just a couple things, you know, just a couple seasons ago, he was like, you know, you have to be the top hero, Shoto. Like you have to. And I think the only other, you know, interaction between Shoto and Endeavor is you know, Stain Arc, where they're working under the same thing, and I think they just want to train. They're both coming to an understanding on how they want to treat this relationship. But Endeavor is certainly the fires have cooled down. The intense flames have definitely tapered off in a set.
And you don't really know when that happened.
Right.
I mean, you can kind of make your own assumption, but yeah, there's no indication of. I get it. This is what I have to do.
Right.
You know, I need to chill the fuck out.
I think the last time we see him, he's just mad that this is how he became number 1. But Endeavor asks All Might, he's like, listen, how do I become the symbol of peace? And All Might tells him that, listen, you need to walk in your own path. The symbol of peace that I constructed was one that was upon my own journey, and hopefully they do the OVA or the origin story or et cetera, et cetera. One that he had to create on his own. And you're going to have to form, and you're going to have to take those steps. You can't walk in my footprints. Just different sizes of feet or something like that. Maybe. I don't know. That's
crazy. He's basically told Deku the same shit.
Yeah. But
Like, he's right though.
Not everything fits the same. If Deku tries to be All Might, it just doesn't work out. First of all, Deku, his body is not the same as
We've
All
seen
Might.
it. Yeah.
It's just a completely different journey, and he lets Endeavor know that because Endeavor is very concerned about society. He's like, yo, you've seen how society's crumbling. The villains, with your absence, the villains are really, showing up and showing out, as shown by the Endeavor arc and all this other stuff like that, League of Villains, etc., etc. So he's trying to figure out how does he step into the limelight and how does he become trusted by the citizens who frankly don't trust him. He's like, yo, Endeavor, number one hero, you trust that guy? He scowls at children. You know what I'm saying?
Here's where I love it, because the conversation is not about power.
Right.
I like that Endeavor's whole issue is how can I become relatable to these people?
Yeah.
Like, I have what it takes to be the number one hero from a power standpoint. It's not an issue. I need to know how I can make these people happy with everything that I do. Which is why I was so intrigued with the conversation. Because usually those type of talks, they're more, he's not questioning how strong he is. He's not really even comparing himself to All Might in that sense. It's just, hey, I need to get these people on my side. I need my approval rating higher. Please let me know what I got to do to get these people on my side. And yeah, All Might was basically like, man, you can't be like me, man. Nobody can be like me. You got to be Endeavor.
You got
not All Might. You feel me? Yeah, like, we're two different people.
We're just different people.
I wouldn't want a charismatic Endeavor anyway. So
no. I mean, we see that towards the end.
We
see that towards the end of this arc anyway.
I mean, yeah, he
has a moment. But after this whole entire day is over, I guess the day is over, Endeavor walks to the sun and says, "I'm proud of you," and he says he's trying to be a hero and trying to be a man that Todoroki Shoto can be proud of. And this is the story that begins to transform the narrative surrounding Endeavor. Because you kind of see the quest, especially in season 2, you see what power can do to a person, or what lack of power can do to a person that can drive them to certain things. And it's actually kind of relatable to a villain in a sense, because we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But it's relatable to a villain. That's why kind of heroes and villains, they aren't really too different in terms of their motivations, especially if it's power or it's because of redemption or certain stories similar to that. But it really tries to change the narrative of Endeavor, because he's now seeing like, okay, well, I gotta be a better father. I gotta be a better person.
Yeah,
I gotta be.
It's literally full circle for him, dog. There is no being the number one hero without getting your personal life together. I feel like that's what he noticed. He's like, I can't have things fucked up at home with my family and then go save lives properly.
Right.
Yeah, he really did have to. That had to click for him.
I'm still trying to look for the moment. I need the kind of moment where it kind of all turned for Endeavor, because from here on out, you see the Endeavor that you knew from the earlier seasons. You see glimpses of it, but he's definitely a lot softer around the edges. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for season 5 preview. He's gonna be very so softer around the edges.
You think like his stuff with Hawks kind of, you think that did something to him as well? Because I don't know, he did seem uninterested in the conversation with Hawks, although Hawks clearly is trying to help.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to
it. May have to do another season 5 preview for that. But the father-son relationship that they had, they're trying to change it. I think Shoto even sees that Endeavor is trying to be a different person. Will he accept it? Should he accept it? I wouldn't accept it right then and there.
No, not right then and there.
I've seen too much. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody has seen too much. We need more action. We need more, I need more to prove that. And kind of like to forgive these flaws. It's very interesting. That's why I say the show is such a social show. It's less about superheroes and powers, and it's a lot about society and these social interactions between people. Because they just how do you forgive someone that has done so wrong in your past, but someone who is willing to atone for the things that they've done and willing to hopefully forget, hopefully apologize, and willing to hopefully put all of that aside to become a family again. Like, how do you treat that?
Well, especially considering, how affected your mother was,
Right.
right? So I feel like
Listen, it's deeper than rap. You know what I'm saying?
it's way deeper than like me against my son or me against my daughter. Like, to them, they're probably, more worried about their mother than
Mm-hmm.
themselves. So I don't know. I feel like even this, I don't know too much about season 5, but I think there's even more to it. I don't think it was 100% I forgive you or anything
No.
like that. I think a lot of it still is going to take more time, but I love that they have kind of started it's weird. It's a face turn,
Yeah.
really, for Endeavor.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. I mean, it's soft because he's a good guy in general, but his attitude was always kind of shitty. So now it's just, man, I can't be the number one hero and be this dick all the time. I have to fight for my family and for the world.
Absolutely. Let's go to UA School Festival arc. A very adorable arc. Bit of fan service.
Yes. So fun.
Continuing to cut the tension of a lot of things while also giving a lot of the other characters some sort of role in the show. A Mina Ashido or a Momo Yayorozu or even Jiro, who doesn't get a lot. I mean, but she's the rock star. She's the music head. She's the kind of person in charge of this, and you really kind of rarely see her in any type of spotlight. But she's here. She's singing over a dub fucking song.
They always amaze me by how they give time to someone I never thought I'd get time for. So
in a great utilizing them in their best way. It's not like, let's just throw her in a hero situation.
What I mean is, season 1, I would have never thought that I'd get this much information or this moment for, whatever character.
Girl.
And I always get it at some point. Yeah, I always get it at some point. I'm like, damn, they really did that. Okay, cool.
Any great moments that you adore from the school festival arc?
Let's see. You know what? Here's what I'm really into, man. They could have gave Deku a huge role, or he did have a huge role.
He did,
but it's so funny.
He had his own interlude.
He had his own little interlude, but the one thing that he had to do caused him so much trouble in the end.
Can relate,
Yeah,
we can relate. But
I do love the flashback. I thought the Airphone Jagger. I mean, that was just. I love seeing the conversations she had with her family, and I think it's just awesome. Like that concert in general is really, really cool, but I love the flashback, man. Like when they get to show the kids talking to their parents about a moment or things that they wanted to do, or you could tell that she was doing that, for that very moment, for that reason. I think it's super cute, man. The show has so many cute moments.
I like the fact that we're still Eri and Mirio still have a place in this, and Eri, apparently they're like, the school is like, yeah, we've adopted Eri. Apparently we can't keep her in the hospital forever. And she doesn't have any parents or stuff to take on these massive medical bills, so they said, get her out.
They definitely bypassed some important documents to let this happen. Like some things were not signed off.
We adopting kids now. You can stay with us.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, but I get it.
So with that said, it builds up to this great performance. But before we hit the great performance, Gentle Criminal and La Brava.
Oh God,
I love him.
I know you do. I think their relationship is weird because
it's a grown man and a little girl.
Yeah, I mean, La Brava. Well, this is an anime. La Brava could easily be 25 years old. We have no idea.
I'm pretty sure she's not. They make sure.
I mean,
they go out their way to make kids in this show, except when you're talking about breasts. But
the relationship is strange. I don't know if it is like
it's not a. I don't think it's a romantic relationship.
I don't think it is either. But like, they do things that make you question it, I guess. I think it's more of a father-daughter type thing, but I don't know. So actually, is it just?
Here's why I love this arc, and I'm about to break it down.
Blow my mind, bro, because There's some cringy moments for
So
me.
the relationship between Labrava and Gentle Criminal is one of admiration, and I get the sort of massive age difference that's crazy, but I think it's Labrava who admires Gentle Criminal, and Gentle Criminal who's been looking for someone to admire him this entire time because he's been an outcast of society for so long. He was in a
So it's
hero
just one person.
Yeah, he was in a hero course for so long, and he was just pretty much bullied out, pushed out, led to a life of crime in a sense. And all he needed was that acceptance. That's what the entire ending thing is about. All he needed was that kind of acceptance that maybe could have changed his life around, and it's a realization that
Right.
Deku has towards the end of this thing. Labrava represents that acceptance from somebody, especially someone who's willing to help him with his plans, but he doesn't want to. It's not like oh my love, one day we will be. It's more so
Yeah, no, there was none of
he
that. They just had little
he
moments,
would he wants the best for her and realizes that in this situation, and she wants the best for him, and it's this mutual relationship. It's still, I can see the weird points in this, but overall,
Yeah, it's not creepy. They just do like they don't push it, but it made me question what it really was, I guess. But it wasn't enough of the stuff to
right.
it didn't overshadow how great this this mini
You have
arc
a
was.
criminal looking for clout online. He's just like,
Yeah, I
yo,
mean,
I need attention.
it happens all the
All these
time right now
villains,
in real life.
very 6ix9ine-ish. All these
Yeah.
villains looking for attention, especially in a world where villains are rising up, and there's so many people doing massive crimes and trying to get their syndicates on top and doing A, B, C, D, or before. He just wants his slice in that. So he's putting up YouTube videos of little petty crimes he commits. Hopefully he'll go viral or something and people will recognize him as a massive villain. I think he just wanted to be recognized as like great, but in a period in a prior life he wasn't.
You don't think it meant you don't think he meant to. I think his whole thing was, this is the fastest way I can get attention, regardless if it's good or
Yeah,
bad. I just want the attention.
absolutely.
Because I don't really. I mean, you can put him in a category of being a villain, but his priority, I think, his actual direction that he was taking was just, I just want attention.
Yeah,
I'm not necessarily trying to kill people.
but here's the thing.
I just want.
Here's the thing. I mean, within that sort of side story and his power and his battle with Deku, which it's very creative in terms of using a lot of the environment. His quirk,
Really cool.
able to make anything kind of elastic, including the air, and take heavy things and make them lighter, and he can jump around. He's someone who's
Could be very useful.
absolutely. And Labrava, who just has the power for things that she admires. It's within her DNA to admire things that she gives them extra strength. It's like, what's that move called in Pokemon? Helping Hand.
Which one? Oh, helping. Yeah, is that what Labrava's doing
absolutely.
the whole time?
So, and she kind of looks like a plus one of mine now that I think about it. But this sort of situation, I think the entire thing is just Deku ends up relating to Gentle Criminal from where they both started. And after he learns the story, he learns that not everyone has kind of like this one track mind of overhaul. And he begins to see villains less in one color and more in different type of colors. Especially with listen, who knows if someone had even just reached out to him and just reached out a hand and provided that sort of comfort, his life could have been completely different.
Completely different. It could have been like, hey, I actually see, the potential you
have. And he
have.
begins to wonder how many other villains are similar to that sort of situation. And it actually is a thing that actually comes up in one of the most recent chapters.
Hey man, I actually think that goes both ways, by the way. I think you could go to somebody, a hero, and say, you have a lot of potential to do a lot of damage. Like this show does go both ways.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's 100%. So he manages to stop Gentle Criminal, who plans on invading UA and fucking up their school festival. And
Deku was like, nah, nigga.
Yeah. No.
I can't deal with that.
They
right
scrap.
now,
he gets to use his new gloves. He just has gloves on, by the way. He's just to shoot his quirk. Anyway, they capture him. It's a good. I think I still love the gentle criminal and La Brava thing.
Hey, it's one of the. I think the actual fight in general. I mean, it's borderline showdown material,
Yeah.
bro. I ain't gonna lie to
No,
you.
you're right.
I think it's really good for them to. I mean, again, I keep saying this, but the overhaul fight was so good. I did not anticipate anything major, but the fact that you really do get, I would say, two really good fights before this is all said and done.
Right.
When we talk about Endeavor again, but it was really awesome and super creative.
They wrap up the emotional weight along with the action of this in a way that's kind of different from most fights, and then also a human aspect of it, which is a lot different than most fights. So that's why I appreciate it, because there's a lot more of a human aspect sprinkled into this actual thing. I know a lot of people don't give a fuck about this arc.
That's okay.
But yeah, that's okay.
It's good though. It has everything that you need to.
I love the campiness of it. La Brava,
Yeah, it's not. It's unserious.
Yeah,
but it's interesting. Like it's just more material. I'm like, okay, cool.
Absolutely. They get back. They have the performance. The performance is fucking amazing. It just is. I was like, I'm astounded at anime performances every time I see them for how they make them work. But the best part of it is Eri's smile, I think. Just
Eri is the cutest character on this entire series, at least so far that I've seen.
Just her smile in the situation, and when they first see her, she's unsure of how to approach any human because of how she's kind of been brought up. But by the end of this, she's fully embracing the fact that this has been amazing. I love experiences. I didn't know life could be so good. So yes,
because she hasn't got to experience. This is all new.
Listen, when everybody cried, I almost cried. I was like, wow, the show, emotions. Pro hero arc.
The pro hero arc.
This is one that has been split up between season 4 and season 5. There's not a lot. It's mostly in season 4. It caps off in season 5.
Hero billboard charts.
The JP hero billboard charts.
I did not see this coming, by the way. And the fact that they call it a billboard chart kind of threw me off, but I'm all here for it.
Yeah. A group of new heroes, familiar faces, risen up the ranks. Let's take a look at the hero charts. There's the billboard hero chart. So All Might used to be number 1. He's no longer number 1. Endeavor is number 1. Anybody from the top 10 that striked you?
Hey man, shout out Best Genius for still keeping it. Dog, I know you. I know I had to say something because this your man.
Of course,
this man couldn't even be there.
Listen,
he's been out of commission for a little bit, and he still ranks so high.
Listen,
which tells you how good he really is. I don't even know what the nigga can really do. So I knew that he was OP. Just the fact that he's still on this list.
Listen, the fabrics, the denim, tough denim, baby. You can't shake it.
Tough denim.
It lasts forever. It lasts forever. We see other people within this, I believe. We see Ed Shot, who got his notoriety from the Camino incident, I believe. Mirko.
I see Mommy on stage.
Mirko. Very popular cosplay character, very popular hero in general.
I wonder why.
Yo.
I'm just saying, bro.
Just amazing character, powerful, strong woman.
Really no. Yeah, jokes aside, incredible.
Top 5. Just top 5.
Easy.
Literally and figuratively. And then we see originally it was supposed why? I was about to spoil this real quick. Don't go to the JP
I'm about to say
hero billboard charts because they spoil it, and I was really just about to spoil it.
No, I'm not. I have it on physically right now. I didn't go to. If I would have went to like a fandom page,
if you'd went to fandom page, you would spoil it. They don't give a fuck. It was just like, yo, we got bills to pay. I don't give a fuck about it.
But you have to click. If you want to spoil a death or see if someone's alive or dead, they'll cover that up.
They don't on this page.
Oh God. They do it on Jujitsu's page. So
don't go to the hero billboard charts page. It's
I will not.
Spoiler heavy. I mean, it's not spoilers that you're like, wow. You're just like, oh, okay. we see Kamuni Woods, Wash, Samurai Guy, old Samurai Guy, Ryukyu, bunch of people. The person who makes the splash is obviously Hawks.
Young Hawks.
Team YN.
Who immediately mentioned Stain.
Yes. It was immediately, first of all, shout out to Zeno himself. Just
shout out to
last
Zeno,
summer
man.
we talked about this. It was the dub was introduced the same week that episode came out. Please go back to the episode if you want to listen to it in full. Amazing. It's on our YouTube page. Just a couple.
He's on fire right now. He's on
fire. Can he leave some checks for everybody else?
Yeah.
But with that said, he's just cool. He's young. He's trying to change things up. He's like, yo, let's not be so serious. Why are we being so serious? Not in the very Joker kind of way, but like, yo, why is it so tense in the room?
He's literally like, y'all were born in the 70s. I was born in the 90s.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. I'm cool. Listen to me. I got this whole new fresh way of thinking. Relax. Everybody's just gasping.
Top 2 hero before. God. Top 3, not 3, by the way. Before I turned 20-something. Like, come on.
What is he, 22? 21?
Who'll do it better than me? It's Hawks.
Cold.
It's Hawks. I'm higher than Best Genius. Best Genius with the fabrics. Come on. He's 22 when he first appears.
22.
So, which was a good age for me. 22 was a good year.
I like that.
So let's fast forward. I mean, Endeavor's got a new suit, by the way. Just a new feature.
It's hard.
Yeah, I like it. He's trying to piece the kids. He's like, yo, maybe my last suit was too
scary.
Yeah, maybe. I don't even know. He's like, yo, it just wasn't cool enough. He's like, yo, I need cool. I'm sure he went to the mechanics and was like, yo, I need a suit that's fucking cool. I need cool factor. They threw on some shoulder pads.
It was definitely a part of the turn.
Yeah.
1,000%. He's like, nah, I gotta switch up the
cool physically and literally because these flames are hot. Endeavor and Hawks have a discussion later on in the episode. They have a discussion. They go back to Kyushu at Hawks Hood, and they're having lunch or dinner and something. There obviously is a difference of minds, different of values, different of things. But Hawks opens up, is like, yo, this. With the rise of villains, people are starting to embrace new philosophies that aren't necessarily thing for villains. And we've seen, a couple other things like, a couple more Nomu sightings in the area and et cetera, et cetera. Like, I think we should team up. I think we should embrace kind of this and instead of it being number 1, number 2, kind of similar to how All Might and you were, I think it should be, we should team up and show that side of camaraderie, which will look better for the entire sort of situation.
It's really, it's smart. You would think that that would be easy to figure out. Like, maybe we should work together because generally you see how people love me. I'm walking down the street. I just saved like 5 lives just in this conversation. People love me. I'm autographing shit. I'm helping old ladies with their luggage. So if they see me with you, it's bound to rub off.
Absolutely.
And then it kind of backfired.
Absolutely, because in that moment, a Nomu comes crashing through the window. Just and I'm sure everyone's like, "Yo, this is very suspicious." How we just talked about Nomu sightings and shit, and then Nomu comes crashing through the window as I'm about to finish my, spare ribs or some shit like that. Let's talk about this Endeavor Hawks versus the Nomu thing.
Oh man. Oh my god!
I think this is the best fight of this season.
Period?
I think this is the best fight of this season, even compared to the Deku versus Overhaul thing.
Compared to Deku Overhaul,
I think this is the best fight.
Okay, here's why I loved. I'm not gonna go crazy on it because I know you remember when I texted you when I first saw this shit, but I love the transition between the fight and
the reactions.
Everyone watching.
Of course,
yes, bro, yes, like. Show Todoroki's whole demeanor. I mean, there's my favorite part of this episode is
he drops his knees.
Oh,
and
my
your
God,
heart.
I just thought it was brilliant, dog. Like,
did your heart do the thing that my shit did? Because it was like,
bro, like when he kind of just like he takes an exhale and like and everyone's around him. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like it touched me,
It
honestly.
did.
Like, he really wanted to see his father get out of that and win, and he was,
despite
it's
everything,
almost like he,
you know.
despite everything, bro, he really just wanted to see I almost called him All Might. He really just wanted to see Endeavor just be great in this situation and be alive, and it was just, that part alone to me is so realistic.
Absolutely,
honestly.
absolutely.
And I thought it was so great how they wrote it.
Like
They didn't
Aizawa
even
runs
have to
in.
do that.
Aizawa runs in and is like, Shoto, have you? Oh, you already see it on TV. Because I'm sure he was like, yo, your father's in a massive fight right now, and he's been struck in the eye, and I saw blood everywhere. But there, I mean, Shoto's not the only one watching. You see what we're introduced pretty much just like really moments before are Todoroki, I mean, Endeavor's son and daughter. Also, we see Fuyumi and Natsuo. Also, Rei gets in the thing in the show and kind of shows how Endeavor has been kind of cooling off. He sent her flowers and stuff like that. So it's
really cute moment, honestly. Like, she was like, I know he still cares. He sent my favorite flowers. You know, it's like,
oh my god.
The turn is almost complete, literally. At least for me. Like, I'm like, okay, Endeavor, I see you.
Season 6 preview. But with that said, so this entire fight, I love this fight because one, it's against one of the strongest Nomus that they've ever seen. One that actually is full realization of what's going on at every time.
I didn't take Nomu serious until this moment.
I
just thought they were I don't know. I kind of looked at them like a
putties.
A storytelling villain
that you punch in the chest really and they break apart.
yeah, you know, like Power Rangers, they always had little demons flying around. They don't really have names. They're just there to help. You know, that's what support villains. Almost.
Well, they still are.
But I know, but this was serious.
They're Cell Juniors. You know, they're Cell Juniors. These are
Cell Junior. Perfect.
These are strong. These cause damage. When one essentially strikes Endeavor and takes his entire eye out, and the blood goes gushing in the air, I was like, "Whoa, incredible!"
Okay, my hero.
But the overall, still beyond being overpowered at various moments by the Nomu, and Endeavor kind of building up that fire, building up the intensity, getting help assistance from Hawks, who uses his wings, rising into the air.
Yeah.
There's this great image of it. I forgot what volume of it is. My Hero.
What, in the manga? Where it's really nice?
Yeah, the volume. I forgot which volume it is. Let me look it up on the thing. But it's a great visual kind of a description of it. Because it was just really powerful and fiery moment, and the culmination of like, okay, you have nothing to fear, kind of Endeavor is here, but not like
not like All Might.
Yeah, he did it in his own way. It's it's volume 21. The cover for volume 21 is still one of the most fire shit I've ever seen in my life. It is, you could hang that in the rafters, but it's so powerful, and they go back and forth, and they're so evenly matched, and it builds up to this moment where he does this prominence burn. That's like the ultimate prominence burn within the sky. Explodes. So he comes back down. They're wondering if he's even alive. The camera's shaking. Everyone's like, "Yo, get out the way!" Da 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 da.
So good.
And they finally, the smoke clears, and he's got the one arm up, kind of like All Might, except it's the other arm. He was like, "Yo, so it's not like All Might." It's completely different.
It's not like All Might, but we're glad you're okay. That's the symbol. Like, I'm here.
It's a symbol. That's all they wanted to show, is that he's a symbol, and everyone is no audio. Everyone's emotions you can clearly see. They don't have to tell us how it is, because we see it. We see, Natsuo and Fuyumi, their expressions to this, and we see All Might's expression to this. He jumps up in his seats, kind of just like, yes, a new symbol, like something to give people hope again. And then, of course, we talk about Shoto's, reaction to it. Everyone kind of
brilliant,
major reaction to this, and it's incredible.
It really is. There isn't another way I would have liked to see this season end, because the overhaul stuff, brilliant. We all know that, but this told a much more emotional story.
It ends one chapter and begins a new one.
Yes, yes, and it's really good. And honestly, my other favorite part of the series was more or less that those ending credits, man.
Ooh, talk about it.
Like, I don't want to get ahead of
Talk about
myself,
it. Talk
but
about
that
it.
was awesome, man. Getting to see, some of the villains that we know now as students, or just some of the heroes that we know now as young students. Get to see young Hawks, like, training as like a 5, 6 year old. Like, like, I just thought it was really cool. It's stuff you want to see and stuff you want to know. We get so much backstory on My Hero Academia, which I think is what makes the show so special. Because you don't get a lot of that stuff. And when I mean backstory, I'm not saying a full length 30-minute episode, just tidbits of maybe what someone looked like or how they were when they were, 10 years ago or 5 years. I love that type of stuff. Like, who doesn't want to see their favorite anime character as a little chibi kid? Like, it's always cute.
I love the final moments of this season because I didn't think it was going to happen. I stayed after the credits because, after all, after that emotional heavy moment, it just you got to let the credits roll and just kind of exhale.
Got to let the credits roll. Because when I read this, because remember, I started reading it, like, at this point I was so locked in on My Hero, and it was my first time that I started reading afterwards. So I maybe like did 15, 20 pages after that, and because I was just so interested, especially after the credit. And I just, it's so cool. But who sleeps like that? I'm sorry. Like,
wait, how do you sleep? How do you sleep?
I mean, not with both hands to my side on my face, but
I do.
I'm a backward side. Do you, Meelz? Oh my god, bro! You really sleep?
I sleep like that.
I'd wake up with a stiff neck. Bro, if I slept like that.
It's the only I can't. So how do you sleep?
So I usually fall asleep. Hear me out. I usually fall asleep on my back. When I wake up in the morning, I'm usually on my side. I can fall asleep on my side. There's no way on God's earth I can fall asleep on my stomach. I just can't do it. I can't do it, bro.
I 100% sleep on my stomach with my arms on my side.
I can't do it, bro. I fear stiff necks, and I usually, when I do fall
I don't
asleep
have
on my
one.
stomach,
It's the pillow. It's the pillow that I have. Bro, I'm able to avoid it, but I understand what you mean.
I've heard people who sleep on their back are sociopaths. So like I worry about myself, but like I usually fall asleep on my back 9 times out of 10.
That's so crazy. This is the end of season 4. Obviously, season 5 premieres this Friday, this Saturday, in around the world. Are you anticipating this? First of all,
yeah,
it's episode 1 or episode 0, which was to reveal to us that it is not in an actual.
Is it going to be a catch up with a few new things?
It absolutely is.
That's. I mean, it's fair. I think we still have. I have a few more. I think 2 more episodes of Juju. 1 more of Promise. So it's fine. This episode can be a catch up because I still have 1 more week of like shenanigans with everything else. But
yeah, it's weird. Everything else is ending at the same time, right?
Bro, it sucks actually. Like, what are they doing? I mean, I guess the Demon Slayer movie is coming, right? I guess
spring anime. They got to keep a spring anime is very important. I guess.
Yeah.
Spring and fall is what I'm assuming is the most important thing about this.
I'm just gonna pick up reading even more. So
I think I was gonna do little. So the important thing. All right. Here's what we'll do. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you enjoy this and enjoy the season 4 anime and the season 5 preview, we're going to talk about a little bit of manga spoilers here. So if you want to end here and you do not want to be spoiled by the manga, thank you for tuning in.
This fit that Best Genius is wearing on this past chapter. I don't know if it's the past chapter or a chapter ago, but I saw it on Twitter. I know it's new. He looks fly. I'm trying to see what's going on. Is it all Gene? I need to see this animated.
And thank you guys for tuning in. Yes, please, if you do not want manga spoilers, please cut it off here. And we will start manga spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think it is all Gene. I think it's all
gotta be all Gene, which is sick. He's got a double breast Gene on with a button up Gene. I mean, Incredible. I gotta wait till we see it on like animated. Like it's gonna look crazy.
So the reason I say this is because this is a game changer in My Hero. I think it's legitimately the end of a saga in My Hero, and it's kind of the end of how we're viewing My Hero Academia, because pretty much the spoiler is that Deku, after everything that's kind of happened within the war arc, has chosen to leave UA.
Okay. What?
Because he believes that he presents too much of a danger to everyone there, because they are looking to steal his power.
Oh. So he gets it now.
So yeah, so he's leaving and he's going about his own journey, I believe.
He's going to America.
It remains to be seen. He literally has a backpack and he looks like he's like on top of a building. He's going to America, I don't know if he's leaving the city. I know for sure he's leaving UA.
He's in Atlanta, bro.
And the final scene of this entire arc is Deku standing on top of a building, and he sees like a hero demolishing a building. He's like, wow, that looks like a big villain. But he's not necessarily approaching them or anything. He seems to be very rogue and on its own. I say this is a major spoiler because it kind of just changes. Can it still really be called My Hero Academia if the main character is no longer in school?
I don't know, bro.
Are we transitioning from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z?
I'm about to say, what's happening? Is it just called My Hero?
A time skip is coming.
If we get, man, you know how I feel about time skips. Every anime needs it, bruh. I don't care.
A time skip is absolutely coming.
That's awesome.
I'm just saying. So we have that to look forward to. That's all I'll say about it. I'm sure if you want to listen to more and more thoughts about it and stuff like that, there's an episode of the War Report. I mean, not the War Report. Wow.
Okay. You said that earlier, I think, too.
I think so. The Big Eyes podcast. There's an episode of the Big Eyes podcast that you guys can listen to. I'm in A show mode as well, because I also referenced the War Report on the A show. But you can listen to the Big Eyes podcast manga episode. I'm sure they're talking all about this and all the possibilities that can come from this. But yeah, it's a game changer. This is the end. Thank you guys for listening. We want to give a shout out to our guest Gabe for showing out.
Thank you. Amazing.
On this massive episode. 3 years for the lookout. It's been an amazing journey thus far. Still, hopefully 3 more years. Hopefully 3 more years worth of a lot more experiences and money and all this other stuff like that. Absolutely. So thank you guys if you have tuned in thus far and enjoying the ride. Again, you can listen to this episode. We had an episode of Titan Time that dropped earlier this week, a full-fledged episode, double episode that we had to talk about because they get crazy on these sets. I mean, whoo boy. Come on, Levi. That's all I got to say. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for subscribing. Please stay subscribed at the Lookout RNC on RNC Radio. Thank you, Soberpen, for the brand new artwork.
Man. Good God, bro.
Oof.
Let's just start a manga.
Yes.
Fuck it.
That's the plan.
Fuck it.
That is the plan. It will happen. I'm putting it into the universe. It will happen one day.
Yes.
The manga will.
It is on my mind.
The Lookout manga will start, will begin, will continue. But until then, I am Meelz, and I'm here with the Platinum Chanel boy Jeff. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.